Picture this. It's a sunny day at Roland Garros and Rafael Nadal steps onto the court, but for the very last time. Can you imagine tennis without Nadal? I know it sounds impossible, but that's where we're heading. And today we're going to talk about his emotional road to retirement. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're a fan of tennis, you know the sport just wouldn't be the same without Nadal. So in this video, we'll delve into his journey, the highs, the lows, and how he's facing this next chapter. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're new here, especially if you love player biographies like this one. We've got some incredible stories lined up. With 22 Grand Slam titles, 92 ATP titles, and a career spanning almost 2 decades of dominance in world tennis, Rafael Nadal is one of the greatest legends the sport has ever seen. But after so many epic battles, painful injuries, and relentless determination, we are witnessing something no one thought would come so soon. Nadal's emotional journey toward retirement. Born on June 3, 1986 in Manacor, on the island of Mallorca, Spain. He won hearts not only for his achievements on the court, but also for his humility, resilience, and unwavering passion for the sport. From his emergence as a young prodigy to becoming the king of clay, his trajectory is marked by memorable moments. Every match was a battle, whether against great rivals like Roger Federer and Novak Djokovic, or against his own physical limits. The path to this point has not been easy, and Nadal's farewell to tennis brings a whirlwind of emotions for his fans. Nadal began playing tennis at a very young age, just 5 years old, encouraged by his uncle and coach, Tony Nadal. By 14, he was already in the spotlight of the professional circuit, and at 19 in 2005, he won his first Roland Garros title, a tournament that would become his absolute domain. Rafael is a force of nature, not only because of his physique and energy on the court, but also because of his aggressive playing style and ability to adapt to different surfaces. But his reign on clay has always been the highlight. With an impressive total of 14 Roland Garros titles until 2022, Nadal consolidated one of the greatest dynasties by a player in a single tournament. His rivalry with Federer and Djokovic elevated tennis to new heights, with epic matches that marked the history of the sport. And it was this consistency and thirst for victory that made Nadal one of the greatest players of all time. Rafael Nadal is not just a name with titles and trophies. Who can forget that 2008 Wimbledon final against Roger Federer, which many consider the greatest match in tennis history, or his spectacular victory at the 2022 Australian Open, when he overcame Daniil Medvedev in an epic comeback against him after being 2 sets down. Every time Rafa steps onto the court, he brings with him the mentality of never giving up, even when his body seems to be saying otherwise. Throughout his career, Nadal has collected victories over all the great names in the sport and dominated different generations of players. With a total of 22 Grand Slam titles as of October 2024, he made history by becoming the first man to win so many majors. Additionally, his 36 ATP Masters 1000 titles places him at the top of the greatest winners of these prestigious tournaments. But perhaps what defines Nadal more than the titles is his resilience. He has faced numerous injuries throughout his career, especially to his knees and wrist, which could have easily ended any other athlete's journey. In 2023 and 2024, his injuries became more frequent, fueling speculation about a possible retirement. However, each time it seemed that Rafa was out, he came back stronger, giving hope that maybe he could play forever. We cannot talk about the legend that is Rafael Nadal without revisiting some of the most iconic moments of his career. Besides the 2008 Wimbledon final, one of the matches that marked his trajectory was his victory against Roger Federer at Roland Garros in 2005, when he was only 19 years old. That match not only symbolized the birth of a new star, but also began his clay court dominance. Nadal not only defeated Federer in the semifinals that year, but also became the tournament champion for the first time. In 2010, Nadal experienced another unforgettable season. It was the year he achieved the career Grand Slam, winning the US Open for the first time. On that occasion, he defeated Novak Djokovic in an electrifying final, becoming the youngest player in the Open era to win all 4 Grand Slams. This feat was yet another milestone for tennis history, solidifying Nadal as one of the greatest of all time. Another memorable moment of his career came at the 2009 Australian Open when Nadal faced his eternal rival, Roger Federer, in the final. In a 5-set match, Rafa emerged victorious, becoming the first Spaniard to win the Australian Grand Slam. At the end of the match, the image of Federer in tears and Nadal consoling him on the podium remains etched in the memory of all tennis fans. And how can we forget the 2019 US Open victory? After defeating Daniil Medvedev in an epic 5-set battle, Nadal lifted his 19th Grand Slam title, a crucial step toward equaling Federer's record, who at the time had 20. That match showed that even at 33, Nadal was still one of the most dangerous players on the circuit. Nadal's physical challenges have always been his greatest battle off the court. During his career, he faced chronic injuries that kept him out of many important tournaments, but the 2023 season was particularly tough. After winning Roland Garros in 2022, Rafa began feeling the signs of physical wear that in some ways had followed him since the early stages of his career. Injuries to his hip and foot worsened over the years, forced him to miss major tournaments in 2023, including the US Open and much of the 2024 season. Upon returning to tournaments in 2024, Nadal no longer seemed the same. Though his heart and desire to compete remained intact, his body began to show clear signs that the end was near. The struggle against increasingly painful injuries and the inability to play at his usual level weighed on the Spaniard. However, he continued to fight, as he always did, keeping hope alive that he might end his career on his terms, on the court, and not due to an injury. The last match in the rivalry with Djokovic. Nadal's retirement had been a topic of speculation in 2023 and 2024, but it was in the second half of 2024 that doubts began to clear. His last official match was at Roland Garros, where he faced his greatest rival, Novak Djokovic, in the semifinals. It was a duel filled with history, emotion, and a bittersweet touch, as everyone knew this might be the last time these two giants would face each other on such a grand stage. Nadal entered the court determined, even knowing he was not in his best physical shape. The match was a true battle, as were all the encounters between these two titans. Djokovic in top form emerged victorious, winning in 4 sets and advancing to the final. But it was not the loss that defined the match. It was the visible emotion in Nadal, who at the end was given a standing ovation by the Parisian crowd, who knew they were witnessing the end of an era. The mutual respect between Nadal and Djokovic was evident in the handshake at the end of the match, with Djokovic clearly moved as he bid farewell to his greatest rival. After the match, Nadal gave a heartfelt speech, thanking the fans and saying that Roland Garros will always be my home. It was a moment that sealed his farewell to a legendary career, in one of the places where he's shown the brightest. Nadal's journey to retirement was not easy, but the spirit that defines him was never broken. In 2024, he played his final tournaments, including his much-anticipated participation at Roland Garros. Though he did not claim his 15th title in Paris, Nadal's presence at the competition was an emotional moment for fans, players, and the athlete himself. Everyone knew that this could be his last time at the tournament where he built his legacy. His farewell from the courts was a true celebration of his career, with a crowd standing to honor the man who reigned in Paris for almost 2 decades. What makes Rafael Nadal's journey even more special is how he handled adversity. Even in the most difficult times, when his body no longer responded the same way, he never lost his love for the sport. He was always a born competitor, someone who never gave up and always gave his best, even in the most challenging circumstances. Nadal's retirement marks the end of an era in tennis. His career was full of historic achievements, intense rivalries, and moments that will be remembered forever. But more than the titles, what defines Nadal is his passion, humility, and unwavering determination. He not only won 22 Grand Slam titles, but he also won hearts around the world. Though his career on the courts has come to an end, his legacy will live on. He's inspired a new generation of tennis players and left an indelible mark on the sport. And just like his fans, we are eager to see what the future holds for Rafael Nadal off the courts. So is this the end for Rafael Nadal? Maybe on the court, but in our hearts, he's forever a champion. If you agree, like this video. And hey, if you want more videos like this, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.